Robert Baldwin here, and if you're having trouble reading music, intervallic training alone is not going to get you where you want to be. Stick around to find out what will. This is going to get a little bit technical, but the results on your playing will be profound. Do you think it would help you to read music better if you knew ways to hear music better? You're going to learn some of those ways in this video, specifically with regard to tonal patterns. All of the most popular piano teaching books on the market start from the very first lessons to ingrain the importance of recognizing notes on the staff from a very young age. But there are problems with that approach. For example, if you learn to play lightly Row starting on a B flat, how are you going to be able to play it in a different key, like B major? Now it starts on an F sharp and your music reading skills aren't helping, they're hindering. Some music teachers realized this 30 or 40 years ago and attempted to improve things by teaching students to recognize intervals. Even today, popular music educators on YouTube will tell you the most important thing you can do for your ear training is to learn your intervals. So when we're thinking intervallically, lightly Row doesn't have to start with a B flat, it starts with a minor third. That's a little bit of an improvement because it still starts with a minor third whether we start on B flat, F sharp, or any other key. But we're still going to run into problems because even though we're being more specific about how the song starts, we're not being specific enough to fully describe how it sounds and functions. There's any number of wrong ways I can start lightly Row with a minor third. In fact, where does lightly Row go after it begins with a minor third? The very next thing that happens is another minor third. But clearly this minor third sounds different from this one. So why would we use the same term to describe them? It's very confusing to use the same label for different things. The difference between this and this is the way they function within major tonality. We can name that difference, and then you'll have a powerful tool to help you drastically grow your performance vocabulary, not just for lightly Row, but for all music. And this is where you want to be. It's the teach someone to fish analogy. If you learn lightly Row, you know lightly Row. But if you learn tonal patterns from lightly Row, then you can play and improvise many, many songs. So let's dive in. And if you want an in-depth training to grow your vocabulary of tonal patterns that even works for beginners, click the link to my website in the description where that's available to you. The first thing we need to do is to give a name to the resting tone that's more descriptive than just a key letter name. We're going to call it Do, which is the resting tone for major tonality, and lightly Row is in major tonality. But the melody doesn't start on Do. It starts with so mi, and so mi isn't just a label for a sound, it is the sound itself. So whatever Do we want to use for lightly Row, so mi is how the melody starts. If E flat is Do, so mi is here. If B is Do, so mi is here. And at this stage, this doesn't have anything to do with the order of sharps or key signatures or anything like that. It's just recognizing the sound of the patterns in the song and finding them on the instrument. The real magic begins when we go to the next tonal pattern, which is Fa, Re. And now we're not just talking about another minor third, we have a different name for the thing that sounds different. Thinking this tonal pattern doesn't just tell us what keys to press, it also gives us a clue to its function in the piece. More on that in a minute. But first, if you appreciate learning these new ways to take control of your piano lessons, consider subscribing because that helps me create this content. And now let's continue through the song. So, mi, fa, re, do, mi, so. So, mi, fa, re, do, mi, so, so, mi, re, fa, mi, so, so, mi, fa, re, do, mi, so, so, do. And here are 4 skills you gain by thinking music in this way. First, you can easily play in any key because the tonal patterns don't change. Let's try it in D flat. So, mi, fa, re, do, mi, so. So, mi, fa, re, do, mi, so, so, mi, re, fa, mi, so, so, mi, fa, re, do, mi, so, so, do. Second, the tonal patterns give you a clue to harmonization because any version of do, mi, so is going to work with a tonic chord, and any version of so, fa, re, ti will work well with a dominant chord. You can use that to come up with a bass line or chord patterns. Third, you can use your knowledge of the harmonies to embellish the melody with passing tones. Finally, you can use these tonal patterns in your own freeform improvisation. Tonal patterns don't exist to make staff reading in intervals obsolete, but they are a means to understand your music in a practical, not a theoretical way. And understanding tonal patterns is a foundation for better reading and theory skills if that's where you want to take it. If you've got any thoughts on tonal patterns or want to share your own improvisations with them, please leave that in the comments. And if you've got a method book piece and you're not sure what the tonal patterns are, leave that too so I can get to it in a future video if possible. See you in the next one.